How does the relationship with Zero helped or change you as an artist?
I feel because
Sorry, Zero, if I'm talking about you in third person, brother. I got tons of love for you. So
we have similar intention with what
Okay.
we're trying to do.
Okay.
And so ultimately, like, our music is kind of vibrating in its own way. So I'll pull in my people, he'll pull in his people. But it's cool that there's this whole spectrum, right? And there's people that would, let's say, be into his stuff that wouldn't be into mine, but ultimately we're like kind of pulling them towards the same place. But I can only speak the language that I speak.
Sure.
So I guess it's like I see these obvious differences, but it feels very similar from the root of it all. And so we just stay inspired, bouncing ideas off each other, and we can just cover more ground that way.
right, but in a sense, because the Los Angeles underground and beat scene, it's wide and vast, right? Like the underground scene's really strong right now, and the sense of experimenting out, it seems like you're more or less solidifying your sound. What's your reaction to that?
I feel like that is so true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Palo Santo, for thinking that. But go ahead.
Yeah, I feel more than ever that I'm just refining so much what I've been growing for the past 4 years. There's a lot of spiritual refinement and experiences that need to happen that just can help me like release any of the crap that I've accumulated from society or just like growing up in general.
Right.
And so
What's an example of something that you could accumulate, like that's bad that you need to release?
an unhealthy belief pattern. Yeah. And so it's kind of just like this reprogramming, just a very simple one, like I can't create this thing that I want to create, but I feel that it exists because I can perceive it in my mind, therefore it must exist. What is holding me back from not being able to create it? This belief that I can't, because if I believed that I could, then I would, and my will to pursue it would overpower that. So simple things like that, just like shifting your perspective so that the thing that you look at changes and agrees with you.
So, like, is that an example of maybe like a song? Like, let's say, you know what, I'm gonna go maybe a little bossa nova this way, or
Okay.
is that what you mean? Like when you're trying to create something and you can't achieve it?
Well, it can pertain to that.
Okay.
I was more so just talking about like life in general.
Okay.
The way that we're navigating through everything. So, but yeah, that I was actually experiencing that last night because I've been working on this track and it's been brewing for a long time. And something kind of just overcame me because I heard it in my head, but I was just like, man, it exists. I just went to my computer and just like put the beats in there finally. And I was like, so it's like you have to believe that you can, and then the body will follow.
Right.
Yeah.
But with your production process, are you finding at this point, because like Premiere, Nas, they'll say like sometimes I'm in the studio for 30 minutes and I got that shit on lock. But sometimes I'll work on a beat, sleep on it for a week, and then it'll be a month and I come back later. Then it works. But for your process, do you find like it still fluctuates as a creative artist, or are you really fine-tuned and honed at this point now, creating something?
It changes. Sometimes I just make things in a day and it's absolutely fine the way it is. And other times there's things that I want to refine and like frequency sculpt and take my time with, and that requires like lots of time. I can't rush the growth of something that is bound to the ties of nature, So I think that I try to let go of that idea, kind of just like the feeling of creation will just move through me, and sometimes it could be scattered amongst different projects all at once, or sometimes it's more direct in one thing. But yeah, it just depends on what creation calls for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a big thing, I don't know if you're aware of this, but because you're of Filipino lineage, it's important. You become an example to the youth and people your age. I don't know if that's something that you see yourself as, but I know you've mentioned before, like, because a lot of us weren't on the map yet, you were kind of like distant towards being Filipino, which I experienced that because I'm almost 40. We didn't have anybody Filipino to look up to. Maybe it was like Hubert at the most, right? Maybe Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
But what was that experience like, venturing towards meeting Apat na Alon and discovering your roots? Because that seems like, when I saw you at Kinda Neat, when you did the intro, to my Filipino cosmic family, I'm like, okay, she got it. That's dope.
Yeah, I think that it happened really quick. Once I started to seek, I kind of set it out to the universe and put it in my intentions when I was meditating. And a month later, they reached out to me, like it started coming to me. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting pulled to go to the Philippines to play, and then traveling to all these places that were not colonized by, the Spanish. And it happened so quick. I wanted to have these questions answered and to experience something that I felt had been ripped from me almost. And the deeper that I dug, I found that there is this feeling in me that will never be satisfied with trying to find my roots just in the Philippines. Because before the Philippines, where were we? Before Africa and Egypt, where were we? And so this feeling that I have to like find my roots, I find it in all cultures now, And I know that I'm Filipino, but I identify with the stars more than ever.
Right, because our culture is so complex if you think about it, because there's the Aidas, which is Afrocentric, the Proto-Malay, Indonesian, then the Chinese and the Spanish. And then I started discovering about even Brazil and the slave ports. And really, it comes down to a sense of just knowing who you are and then just being and pulling away from it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But did you feel that pressure too, though? Like, doesn't Filipino journalists like hit you up like, oh my God?
Yeah, like when my last album came out, that was all that was asked of me. And
correct.
After a while, I was just like, man,
over it.
I don't want to just like be that only thing. But I think it was an important part of my process.
Correct.
Because I am of that heritage, but to see
move on.
Yeah, to see beyond these cultural differences, there are more similarities than not. But I think people have to like kind of reclaim that as a step in coming back to themselves, just like as spiritual beings.
Beautifully put. Yeah. Correct.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to say like I'm not there anymore, because there's always new things to evolve or to discover in your evolution. But I think that my focus has kind of just like moved past that. Like, but it's a part of it. But I'm just looking elsewhere now.
Right.
Looking elsewhere.
Good for you, because the integral part of development now, because everything's digital. There's Instagrams. There's this social media. People sometimes get derived and become derivatives off digital personalities, where you're seeking and finding. It seems like who you are, But there was something integral that you talked about in another interview, where you played with a band at Malasimbo and just rehearsed for 2 days.
Oh yeah.
And then it worked out for the best. What was that?
I don't know.
How was that like?
I wish.
Because you have to be culture shocked too at the same time, right?
Oh well, I've been to the Philippines many
okay.
times ever since I was little, so I kind of knew what to expect, but I had never performed with a band before. But it just clicked, man. I was like, can't you guys just be my band?
Right.
But they're out in the Philippines doing their own thing, and you know, it was kind of just like this magical alignment that worked out, you know.
But don't you want to? Do you seek that to be in a band or to find your own band?
Sometimes, yeah, because I've done the solo thing for so long, and every time I play with another person, they open up another branch that branches out into other sounds and textures and like ideas, and it's so amazing to be able to reinterpret these song incantations in new ways because there's other energies involved.
Sure.
And I really love that, but it's just kind of difficult to manifest that in Los Angeles because everyone's kind of trying to do their own thing, and I feel that I'm kind of.
You are your own entity too.
Yes, I am.
Right?
But I don't know. It's like it's not in the path like immediately, so I'm just working with what's around me right now. And I feel like it'll come to me. I like when things come to me instead of me reaching out.
But since you're evolving with your spirituality, do you feel more comfortable in the patient process?
Yes, because everything that I feel that I'm seeking, you know, I feel like I can truly like quench my desires by just coming back to creation within, you know? Like I want to jam with people. I want that. I do, but I feel like it hasn't come because I haven't learned how to shred on the harp yet. So here I am.
To have your
like,
solo on the spot, right?
You know, I don't know. So I believe in the process of unfoldment. So I'm letting nature take its course and not, because if I focus on the things that I don't have, then I'm putting up resistance and not allowing it to come towards me.
But, you know, I think you discovered like sampling a little bit towards the middle of your, I guess, musical career. Like I remember like Paradise 2. What was that? Was that primarily both produced and resampled? I think that was from the
Alchemizing Dawn. Yeah, that's mostly me making the sounds. I did sample some like percussive stuff, and I don't use presets.
Okay, good.
I like tweaking with everything because there's something about like stock sounds that just makes me go. But
well,
yeah,
you are an organic artist, so
I really enjoy sampling. Like it comes in waves, you know. I feel weird about taking other sounds. Like I have to pass it through a filter and make it sound like something that it wasn't before until I'm satisfied, because I feel like I'm stealing or something. But you know, that's not the case. It's just like as an instrumentalist, I feel like I have to make all the sounds myself, but I think it's all good so long as like your intention is in the right place. So sorry, that's just like another voice in my head that's like,
no, totally,
you have
yeah.
to EQ that so it doesn't sound like
all bugged out, or at least the way you want it to be, right?
yeah.
So what's your favorite place to perform at? What country?
What country? Well, the Philippines.
Oh.
Yeah, I just love playing out there. I don't know what it... Oh, I know what it is. It's just the vibe. The vibe is always right.
Okay.
Yeah, people can just hear you. You know, they're like listening with their hearts. And there's just so much soul out there that it's like... It just comes out, you know?
Tons of expats, too, that are moving to the Philippines now.
Expats?
Expats, like people who live all over the world and move to the Philippines because of what you're just saying. There's a certain soul between the people.
Yeah, sometimes I I fantasize about moving back there and like living in a forest or something. But then I'm like, there's too much work to be done, you know? I can't just go live in paradise when there's this sense of duty within me, you know, to be wherever the music pulls me to do work, you know. So.
But I remember Gavlin on another interview. She said she performed at like Sicily, and then the audience seemed to like know the lyrics more harder, and they ended up singing like the national anthem for her. Have you ever experienced anything like outside of the U.S. like that? Like I remember you mentioned Germany was dope to perform for.
Oh yeah, yeah. Every time I play in Germany, like, give me so much love. I think where did I go on tour last? When I was in London, it was really dope because some people knew the lyrics and they were just present with me the whole time. So that's love. When you can find home in these seemingly foreign places, that's always my favorite.
But since you're also people are enamored by you using the harp. But with traveling, how do you remedy that? Do you just perform via keys and drum machines now, or do you have people?
Harp.
Oh, you bring your harp.
Yeah, I have an electric harp now.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
because I think you were looking for sponsorship for like an electric harp company.
Yeah, no,
right?
I'm like too weird for those harp companies, man. Like they don't want to mess with me.
Well, what do they want?
They want I don't know what they want. I'm not even gonna
speculate on that.
Yeah. But, you know, it's cool. Like, I saved up money from tours and bought my own harp. And it's cool. It's, like, electric. It's silver. I get to run it through effects pedals. And I travel with it and got my special flight case made that was more expensive
How
than
big
the
is
harp
that?
itself. It's too big, but it works. I'm blessed to have one, finally.